My name is Juliet Doris. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, but I was raised in Los Angeles, California, mainly on the east side. Baggin Jays N Degrees is a nonprofit that I created during my undergraduate education at UCLA. It's all about being your authentic self in any space, and I really learned the meaning of that, being my authentic self in academia at UCLA. Baggin Jays N Degrees was developed behind me being trolled on Instagram. I was in school for about 8 years, obtaining my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, and then my master's. So, you know, when I would post on IG, it was my hobby of collecting Jordans. I would post the latest pickup. I would post the food that I was eating, and I would post, you know, my midterms or my finals that I was taking. So my friends would just say, like, I saw you go to school, buy Jordans, and go out to eat. And so after being trolled for so long, my friend actually came in and she started hashtagging all my pictures, Baggin Jays N Degrees. And I'm like, oh man, that's dope. Like, you know what? I decided, you know what? I'm gonna stand in my truth. This is my truth. My truth is my hobby and my goals. And so more often than not, people are shamed in life. And I feel the youth are shamed behind them pursuing their passion, chasing their dreams, or whatever they want. It's just like so many social constructions on what you should be doing at what age and what it looks like. And I'm like, no. I went back to school at 30. I like Jordan because of what he embodies. And that's the thing, I'm not a lover of basketball. I was born in Chicago, yes, I love the Bulls, but it's about what he created on the basketball court. And it's like the legacy. So it's like when you die, what will people say about you? So for me, it was all about what legacy do I want to create? When I'm no longer here, what do my footprints look like? At my daughter's school, there was a lot of bullying going on. There were self-esteem issues. I'm a social worker, so some of the girls had open cases and there are a lot of things going on in their family, a lot of underlying issues. So one of the practical things that I did was I had a girls group every Thursday. And in the beginning of that group, I sent around a list asking them the topics they wanted to discuss. Because a lot of times we come into places with our preconceived notions of what we think the population or the people we're servicing needs versus asking what are the unmet needs. And so working with them every Thursday, and we talked about sex, we talked about self-esteem, we talked about bullying, we talked about higher education, being hands-on. And I'm not coming and giving them, I'm not telling them the things that I read out of a textbook. Like, I'm giving them real life. So that was something that was very practical, to the actual act of going out into the community and starting somewhere. So a few of my favorite pairs. I love the 4s, I love 11s, and I love 1. So this pair, I actually stood outside of Shoe Palace at 3 o'clock in the morning in order to get this shoe, me and my homeboy, and we didn't get it. They only had 9 pair. And we were number like 15 in line. So I had to pay resale price and order them for someone. But I love 1s. I just believe it's a clean, classic shoe, and you can't go wrong with 1s. I went to go see J. Cole in New Orleans, and I wore these. And I believe I was in row 8, seat 4. He saw me. I love 4s, and it's just a clean bread. Black and red, you just can't go wrong. Like, OG sneakerhead knows what's up. Like, you have to have this in your shoe collection. I try not to turn my shoes into beaters, but then, you know, a lot of people preserve, like, what do they say? Stock 1, rock 1. Like, no, I'm getting 1 pair, and I'm just gonna rock them. 11s. Like, how clean are these? It's just a classic shoe, and I actually have 4 pairs. So I do have 2 mid, and I have a low. Why do I have 4 pairs of the same shoe? They're different height, and then, you know, and then they kind of get dirty, and so I'm not a fan of dirty shoes. So yeah, I have about 4 pair of these. It's very important to be unapologetically you in any setting. And for me, it was most important for me to be unapologetically Juliet in academia at UCLA. I feel sometimes we want to fit in. And one example is like, we're all at UCLA, right? So I just felt so many people wanted to be like, I'm so smart, I'm so smart. And it's like, yeah, you are. We are, because we're here. But me just learning how to be comfortable in my skin, 5'10". I am a large, thick like peanut butter black woman. I have these gold braces, blue hair, have tattoos, I have piercings. And I understand how I can come off as, just say people just like scared, intimidating. Because what I got a lot was that I say people will say I'm aggressive, and I'm not aggressive, I'm assertive. Bullshit is bullshit, and bullshit is universal language. And to me, it is what it is. So in academia, sometimes I was uncomfortable with spaces amongst professors because, oh my God, this person is a professor, and I feel I have to act a certain way so I won't feel inferior. But once I started becoming friends with a lot of professors and just different people in different spaces at UCLA, I became more comfortable in who I am because they were comfortable in who they were. You know what? It's all for the individual, because it's once again status quo and social constructions. Society says that you're supposed to graduate from high school, go to college, get a job, get married, have your 2.5 kids, your white picket fence, and your dog. And it's like, what if that's not for you? We're all individuals and our journeys are unique. So if that's the journey that they want to take, then I feel that that's what they should do. For me, I didn't feel higher education was for me. I still don't feel that way. But because of my gift, my talents, who I am, I believe that it was God's mercy and grace that sustained me to get through my undergraduate education, to get through my master's. It was very, very, very difficult. But I'm a social worker, and I work with people that look like me, young girls. And because of it was already in His will, and it was mapped and it was planned, that was my destiny. It was just written. So education is the key for people that feel that's what they need to get where they need to go. But it's not necessary, and it's not for everybody. I think that sometimes young people chase entrepreneurship in order to avoid education because they don't feel like education is tangible. And when I say tangible, it's like, who looks like me that goes here? Who looks like me in my neighborhood that goes to college? Who do I know that completed college? So when I say things are intangible, when you can't touch it, see it, smell it, you feel that it's not real. Whereas you can say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur because I feel that it'll give them more room and more time to bullshit for them to really get down to what they're trying to do. Because you can keep on saying, I'm working on it. Yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get there. Whereas in higher ed, we have timelines, right? We're on a quarter system. And you have to answer from the 11th week. The answer will come in the form of grades. So it's more of an accountability because you only get so much time. Whereas entrepreneurship, you're on your own dime, you're on your own time. So you can avoid if that's what you want to do. Mental health. I say that because I see it so much. I'm a social worker. I work for the Department of Children and Family Services. Underlying needs not being addressed, trauma not being addressed, putting a Band-Aid where youth need soul surgery. In the African-American communities, I believe in Hispanic communities and African-American communities, right? We, as a black woman, as a single mother, I have to be strong. I have to be a strong black woman. I have to take it all in, and I can't complain, and I can't be tired, and I can't suffer from depression, and I don't have room, because if I drop the ball, who's gonna pick it up? In Hispanic communities, you're gonna go to church, you're gonna pray, you're gonna light a candle. That's fine, because that's part of culture. I understand, because I have things that I do within my culture. But is that addressing the mental health? Is that addressing what's going on inside that person's head, their mind, their body and soul? So because we put a Band-Aid and we're ashamed and there's a stigma about mental health, because the first thing someone does is what they call you crazy. And you don't want to be known as crazy. So you're afraid to speak your truth and say, you know what? I feel depressed. I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from X, Y, and Z. And it starts with the youth. And what you do is that you mask it and you learn how to smile. You put on that face, because people have two faces or sometimes three faces, and we put it on and we move forward without addressing the unhealed trauma, the unhealed pain, growing up in a single family home, growing up with maybe an alcoholic father, a mother, a mother that's an addict. I see it all. So those things, not addressing it snowballs and it grows and it grows and it grows. And I believe a lot of issues that people have as a young adult and as an adult stems from unhealed and unaddressed issues in their childhood. So mental health.
Let anybody make you feel less than because your journey looks different. Know that your life is tailor-made for you. When God made you, it's already written. So you don't have to worry about nobody else. You are your own competition. Nobody can compare with me because they don't compete. I'm not worried about the next woman. I'm not worried about what you're doing because that's your journey. You personalize your shit and you figure out what's gonna get me from plan A to plan B. Because looking over there, while you trying to look at her plate, your food getting cold.